ahead and look at a copy of the deliverable that you have. This is the model or a model of the assignment. Let's first shrink it down so that you can kind of see the totality of what you need to do. It's really not more than 2 pages, and basically all it is a sentence outline. That's your thesis and main points together with a reference list. And remember, you're doing this assignment to get ready to write your essay, an essay that uses sources. So let's take a look at this outline. First, let's repeat again, this is nothing but an outline. It has a thesis statement, it has main point number 1, it has main point number 2, and it has main point number 3. That's it. It's simply an outline. And each of these sentences is written in using the formulas that we have developed. The thesis statement, for example, must state a debatable position on your topic. Debatable means that it has 2 valid sides to it. Let's take a look at this one. The Obama administration's Affordable Care Act, ACA, provides needed benefits to medically uninsured individuals. So this person has taken the pro side of the Health Care Act, Obamacare, and wishes to keep Obamacare because it is, quote, medically needed or necessary. Now, this person, this writer, is going to back up that thesis statement with 3 main points. Let's take a look at each of those 3 main points. Main point number 1. And remember that your main point should be the first sentence, or sometimes called the topic sentence, of your body paragraphs. These main points should be the first sentence of your body paragraphs. And here it comes. One of the ACA's major benefits is that it will stop the skyrocketing healthcare cost charged by private for-profit companies. Okay, let's notice a couple of things. First thing we'll notice is that these main points use number words. Main point number 1 says one of the ACA's major benefits. Main point number 2 says a second benefit. Main point number 3 says a third benefit. So that's the first thing you notice about the main points, is that you want to use sequence words. Those sequence words can be numbers, 1, 2, 3, first, second, third. The sequence words can be adjectives like to begin, next, finally. So that's the first thing I want you to notice about the topic sentence. The second thing I want you to notice about the topic sentence is that they all use parallel structure. The same structure, that's what parallel means, at the beginning of each topic sentence. For example, we have one of the ACA's major benefits is, main point number 2. A second benefit of the ACA is, main point number 3. A third benefit of the ACA is. So they're pretty much using the same words. Benefit, 1, ACA, following that parallel structure, reminding the reader, hey, we're going from one main point to the next main point. We've now finished with that point, now we're going to the next. And that's why you use those sequence words, 1, second, third. It's why you use the parallel structure. One benefit is, and the next paragraph will say a second benefit is, and the third paragraph will say a third benefit is. It's very important that you keep those structural elements in mind because they signal the organization of your paper. Okay, now we've talked about the outline. The outline consists of the 4 key sentences of an essay. The thesis, which comes as the last sentence of your introduction and introduces the essay, and then your 3 main points. Now, the only difference between this outline and the outline that you wrote in week 1 is that after you state the main point, I want you to go to your research notes that you took last week when you went to the library, take those research notes and find facts, statistics, examples, quotations. Go to your research notes and find those things that support this first main point. So again, this first main point is that the ACA will stop skyrocketing healthcare costs. Now we've got to prove that. We've got to support that. We've got to make that a valid point. And one of the ways we're going to do that is to draw upon published source material. So we go back to our notes and we find things that we could possibly use. For example, currently over $2 trillion are spent for health care in the U.S., which is 17% of the national income. Those statistics came from this source, Samuelson, 2007. Now, that's what you need to add to your outline. Facts, statistics, examples, and quotations. And when you add them to your outline, be sure to put in an in-text citation. Yes, this parentheses, Samuelson, space, 2007, close parentheses, is an in-text citation. This abbreviation, because all APA in-text citations are abbreviated, down to the author's last name, space, year of publication. If you do not have an author's name, you put in the title of the source, but most of your sources will have author names. This abbreviated citation, Samuelson 2007, refers to the full citation on the reference page at the end of your paper and at the end of your outline. Here is the full citation, Samuelson, R. Notice we did not use that initial in our in-text citation. Year of publication, 2007. Title of the article, Prescription for Healthcare, pain. Notice that in APA, only the first word of a title and first word of a subtitle, indicated by the colon, are capitalized in any proper nouns. The source from which it was taken, or the publication from which it is taken, is italicized, Newsweek, page number, and then retrieval information. And we'll talk more about the three types of retrieval information in just a moment. So that's all that you do. You write out your main point, which we did, and you go and find sources that support it. This support continues with the sentence, this is 3 times higher than any other developed nation. And we cite Samuelson again. Why? Because each time that you use a source in your paper, each sentence that uses a source information in your paper must have an in-text citation. Well, great, you say. You had 2 sentences that used Samuelson, and you cited both. But what happened to the year in the second citation? Well, once you give a year for a source in a paragraph, you don't have to repeat the year. You can go ahead and just use the author's name, or if it doesn't have an author's name, the title of the publication. So that's why we didn't repeat the year. It's not wrong to repeat the year, but it's a little shortcut. We can also support this main point with another source. Another reason for skyrocketing costs is the lack of competition, especially when it comes to drugs. Congress forbids Medicare and Medicaid to ask for bids from overseas manufacturers. Now here comes the material from the source. The result is that many drugs cost 10 times more in the U.S. than overseas. Where did that information in that sentence come from? It came from an article entitled Pay for What Works, year of publication, page number in the source. And again, that source, this abbreviated in-text citation, didn't have an author, so that's why we used the title of the source refers to the full citation in your references list. Here it is. Pay for what works. Again, if you don't have an author, you begin with the title, period, year of publication, period, title of the publication, book, magazine, or journal that it was found in, italicized, volume, italicize, issue number, page number, and retrieval information. Notice that the retrieval information mentions a website. Again, we're going to get to that in just a moment. So this first main point was going to use two different sources, Samuelson and Pay for What Works. The Samuelson source was going to be used twice, so it's cited twice. The Pay for What Works source is used once. Then we go to our next main point and do the same thing. Our next main point is, a second benefit of the Affordable Care Act is that it will prevent women from being charged more than men for health care insurance. How are we going to support that? We're going to go to our notes, to our library notes that we took last week. You may have to go back and get some more this week, I don't know. And we're going to find quotes, examples, statistics. Here it looks like we got a statistic. McGinley, there's the author's name, 2007, there's the year of publication, so that's an in-text citation. Since it's not at the end of the sentence, McGinley, the author's name is being used in your own sentence, it doesn't go inside parentheses this time. McGinley states that women on average are charged nearly 38% more than a man for comparable coverage. That's a pretty telling statistic. That's definitely going to support this main point here about preventing women from being fleeced like that. We looked in our notes and we also found a quote that we're going to put in there. Transparency on medical costs and the nature of service is essential to obtain better treatment. And here's the in-text citation, Ginsburg, 2007, page 22. Since the name Ginsburg did not appear in the sentence, it must be inside the parentheses. Here is main point number 3. Main point number 3 is, a third benefit is that with the ACA, individuals no longer have to fear preconditions, being dropped when they become ill, or exceeding their payout caps. How are we going to support those things? We're going to go to our notes and we're going to find quotations, examples, statistics that support it. Here's one. According to Matthew Dobias, published in 2009, notice that Dobias is being used in the sentence so it doesn't go inside the parentheses. There are more than 47 million Americans who do not have health care benefits. Many of them have pre-existing medical conditions that private insurers will not cover or will charge an exorbitant amount for. That sounds like a very strong use of a source, a very strong statistic that will definitely support this main point. Here comes Oliver. Oliver is going to support this point by stating, and this is a quotation, the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in the U.S. is medical bills not covered by health insurance policies with payout caps. So we have talked about preconditions and we've talked about payout caps. There's another possible source, and notice we've already used this one once in our essay. You can use the sources that you collect as many times as you want in any paragraph that you want. You can use them as many times as you want. Just remember, every sentence that you use a source inside of, that sentence must have an in-text citation. Okay, let's look at what use is being made here. 68% of women do not have health benefits and are unable to afford the necessary yearly cancer screenings. McGinley, 2007. And as we said before, we use McGinley up here, main point number 2. So you can use your sources as many times as you want to in any paragraph that you want to. Then after that outline that has noted in it possible material that you can use from your sources, I then want you to list the sources that you're planning on using. It may be the 6 you found last week. It may be out of that 6 you're only going to use 3. I don't know. This list should consist of the sources you're planning on using. They can be ones that you've discovered before, They can be ones that you discovered this week. I just want you to practice putting them into APA reference citation format. Here is what reference citation format looks like. The first line starts all the way on the left. Last name, year of publication, title of the article, only first words and proper nouns capitalized, title of the publication it was found in, volume, issue, page number, and then comes the retrieval information. Now you have three options when it comes to retrieval information. I'm listing them for you in descending order. If you have a DOI, digital object identifier, it should always be the preferred method of retrieval. Here's a DOI. It is like a card catalog number for an article. This DOI refers only to that specific article. So that's your first choice. If a DOI is not present, your second choice is the URL of the publication, if the publication has a URL. Here it's the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal does have a website, so you would cite the website. Your third choice, your final backup, to be used only when the first two fail, is to give the name of the database. Here the database was the ProQuest newspaper database. So please remember that whenever you are creating your reference citations. Your first choice is a DOI. If you don't see a DOI, it's the URL of the web page. If the publication doesn't have a web page, you give the name of the database. Now, it's very easy to get these reference citations correct. All that you have to do is to use a citation machine to get these reference citations correct.